Hey everyone, welcome back to Psychology Hub. I'm Alex James, and today we're going to dive into an incredibly fascinating subject: human development. This is the story of how we grow and change throughout our lives, from the moment we're born to the time we reach old age. It's an ongoing journey, one that's filled with development, transformation, and psychological progress at every stage. Whether you're someone who's learning about psychology, just curious, or a seasoned professional looking to update your knowledge, you've come to the right place. Let's get started by breaking down a simple yet important question. What exactly do we mean by human development? To put it simply, human development refers to the series of changes and transformations that we go through from the time we're born until we pass away. These changes involve our physical bodies, our minds, our emotions, and our social connections. Researchers in psychology often break down this process into specific stages, each one offering unique challenges, opportunities, and growth. There are a lot of different models for understanding human development, but most of them focus on these key stages: infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. Let's walk through these stages and see how we develop as we move through the years. The first stage we're looking at is infancy, which lasts from birth to around the age of 2. This period is all about rapid growth. Babies develop a variety of physical skills, like learning how to move, roll over, crawl, and eventually walk. But infancy isn't just about physical development. It's a time when babies begin to form emotional bonds with their caregivers. These early relationships are critical for emotional development and long-term mental health. The psychologist John Bowlby made a big impact with his research on attachment, showing how important these early connections are for emotional well-being later in life. After infancy, we enter the stage of early childhood, which spans from about 2 years old to 6. Early childhood is marked by the rapid development of language skills and the refinement of motor abilities. Kids also become much more social during this period, starting to play with others and learn the basics of social interaction. It's a time of exploring the world and figuring out how to relate to others. At the same time, children begin forming their sense of self, who they are, and how they fit into the world. Psychologist Erikson identified the key conflict during this stage as autonomy versus shame. Children are learning to become independent, but if they're overly restricted or punished for their mistakes, they might develop feelings of inadequacy. Next, we move into middle childhood, which includes ages 6 to 12. This is the stage where children start school, make deeper friendships, and begin thinking more logically. It's a time of growing cognitive abilities. Piaget, a well-known psychologist, called this the concrete operational stage because children at this age are starting to think more logically and systematically, though they still need concrete examples to help understand abstract concepts. They start to understand the importance of rules, fairness, and the perspectives of others. Socially, kids are refining their ability to cooperate, share, and make lasting friendships, which is an important part of their emotional development. Then comes adolescence, typically between the ages of 12 and 18. This is one of the most transformative stages of development, and it's a time of big changes. Puberty hits during this period, which brings dramatic physical changes and an often intense emotional experience. Teens are navigating the shift from childhood to adulthood, and they start to deal with questions like, who am I? And what do I want to do with my life? Erikson's theory of psychosocial development highlights that adolescence is a time of identity versus role confusion, meaning that teens are experimenting with different roles and exploring who they are in the process. Once adolescence comes to a close, we enter young adulthood, which typically lasts from the ages of 18 to 40. This is a stage focused on forming close relationships, whether romantic or friendships, pursuing career goals, and becoming more independent. Erikson suggests that during this stage, individuals face the challenge of intimacy versus isolation. It's all about forming meaningful connections with others, and it's also a time when individuals start to really understand themselves and their desires. It's a time of growth, where people lay the groundwork for their future, whether it's setting long-term career goals, choosing a life partner, or developing a sense of personal identity. Following young adulthood, we enter middle adulthood, which spans from around 40 to 65. This stage can often bring about reflection. Many people start thinking about their accomplishments and what they want to leave behind in the world. Erikson described the conflict of generativity versus stagnation in this stage. People in middle adulthood focus on contributing to the greater good, whether through their careers, raising children, or helping others. It's also a time where individuals might feel dissatisfied or unfulfilled if they feel they haven't made the impact they wanted. Some may even experience what's often called a midlife crisis during this stage, where they rethink their life choices and goals. Finally, we reach late adulthood, which begins around age 65 and lasts throughout the rest of life. This stage is marked by reflection, where older adults look back on their lives and evaluate whether they feel they've lived in a meaningful way. According to Erikson's model, this is a time of integrity versus despair, where people either feel content with their life's journey or struggle with regret. As physical abilities decline, people tend to focus more on relationships, sharing wisdom, and enjoying the time they have left. Many older adults prioritize family, legacy, and a sense of peace, finding fulfillment in the relationships and experiences they've built over the years. As we move through these stages, it's important to remember that several psychological theories help us understand these complex transformations. Piaget's stages of cognitive development explain how children's thinking becomes more complex over time. Erikson's psychosocial theory gives us a roadmap for understanding the social and emotional challenges we face at each stage of life. Vygotsky's sociocultural theory emphasizes how our social environment and cultural experiences shape our development. And Bowlby's attachment theory continues to shed light on the importance of our early relationships in shaping who we become. One of the age-old debates in developmental psychology is the nature versus nurture question. Are we more shaped by our genetic makeup or by the environment we grow up in? The answer, it turns out, is that both factors play a role. Our genetics lay the foundation for many aspects of who we are, including our personality, intelligence, and health. But our environment, such as our family, friends, education, and culture, also plays a huge role in shaping our development. It's not just about nature or nurture. It's about how these two forces work together. Human development is a lifelong, dynamic process, and each stage presents its own set of challenges and opportunities for growth. By understanding these stages, we can better understand ourselves and others, which is key to building empathy and improving our relationships. What's fascinating about human development is that everyone's journey is unique. No two people experience these stages in the same way. Whether you're going through the turbulence of adolescence or the wisdom of your later years, remember that growth is a continuous journey, full of changes, adaptation, and self-discovery. Thank you so much for joining me today in this deep dive into the journey of human development. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment with your thoughts or questions, and subscribe for more insightful discussions on psychology. I'd love to hear about your experiences or any questions you have. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating world of psychology.